Good morning and welcome to the APAC Review Morning Market Wrap for Tuesday, the 10th of September. Well, markets across Asia started off to a really good week yesterday, thanks to the positive Chinese data coming out on Sunday, as well as Tokyo winning the 2020 Olympic Games bid. Now, exports have continued to get a steam in China, rising around 7.2% in August from a year earlier, according to data released on Sunday. As well as this, we saw imports rising around 7% from a year earlier in August. Now that's down from around 10.9% in July, but still very solid numbers. We also saw data released yesterday morning showing that Chinese inflation remained subdued, with the Chinese Consumer Price Index rising around 2.6% in August. Chinese banks largely led the way as they considered the Shanghai Free Trade Zone, which is soon to be opened. The Shanghai Composite Index advanced around 3.4%, ending up 72.5 points. And Hong Kong's Hang Seng was also up slightly, rising around 0.6% or 129 points. Now in Japan, we saw some positive GDP data being released yesterday, showing that the Japanese economy grew much faster than expected. April to June gross domestic product grew a revised 3.8% on an annualized basis, compared with last month's initial reading of 2.6%. The Nikkei 225 jumped nearly 2.5% or 344 points. We also saw investors in Japan reacting to the weekend news that Tokyo will actually be hosting the 2020 Olympic Games, a decision that affected entire markets across Asia. Now, taking a quick look at the other markets, we have the Korean Kospi up around 1%, hitting its highest level in about 3 months, as well as the Singapore, New Zealand, Thailand, and Indonesia indices also rose. And markets in India yesterday were closed due to a public holiday. Now, Australia's S&P ASX moved up around 0.7% higher after the weekend election, which of course saw the Liberal National Coalition Party be elected, Australia's first Conservative government in roughly 6 years. We also saw some positive signs in the country's housing industry yesterday, with housing finance growing in 2013. Official data showed a 2.4% rise in loans approved, beating economists' expectations of a 2% increase. And mining stocks benefited largely yesterday thanks to the Liberal National Coalition's pledge to reduce or remove taxes on carbon emissions. So we saw BHP and Rio make some solid gains, both rising around 1.4%. Quickly taking a look at the US, stocks climbed overnight with the S&P extending its longest winning streak since July. This is largely thanks to the positive Chinese data, as well as apprehension of the Apple iPhone release, which is tomorrow 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. That's Sydney time. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average ended around 140 points higher for the day. Now, taking a look at the day ahead, we have the Bank of Japan releasing its August minute meetings. That's at 9:50 a.m. Sydney time. At 11:30, we can expect the Australian consumer inflation data and the National Australia Bank business confidence data to be released. At 3:30 p.m, we have the Chinese industrial production and retail sales figures being released. And at 5:30, we have India's balance of trade data being released. And that's the APAC Review Morning Market Wrap for Tuesday, the 10th of September. Thanks for joining me.